Hey, my name is Lydeana Mullin. I am a board certified holistic health practitioner specializing in type 2 diabetes, nutrition, and wellness. I am here today to go over a quick tutorial I have put together to help all of my fellow chronic illness um, challenged friends, to help all my friends to change their lives, transform their lives. Food is medicine, and that is not only what I believe, but is what I know for a fact. Food has been definitely a game changer in my life as a mother living with type 2 diabetes. So I want to share what I have experienced and try and help you all to do the same thing. No one wants to be on medication or be on heavy medication forever, and if that is your truth, then that's okay. That's okay. But not everyone wants that. Some people want to be able to come off of their medications or lessen the amount of medications that they're taking. Okay. And food is just the way to do that. All right. So, this is part one of my two-part series, Transform Your Kitchen, Transform Your Life. Part one is going to be talking about what should be in your refrigerator. Um, it's all about environment. I'll begin there. You want to effectively change your diet in order to transform your life, right? You want to change your diet. So, how do you change your diet? You have to first change your habits. But how do you change your habits? It all begins with your environment. Okay. And when I say environment, I mean your surroundings, the things you surround yourself with, even the people you surround yourself with, you know. And, people say you are what you eat, not literally, but what you eat does matter. What you eat does make a difference in your life. What you eat is important. So it's important to your health and it's important to your vitality, your mental and your physical state. So before I get to preaching, um, we'll go ahead and get started. So, your kitchen is the first environment you want to begin with. It's the environment you want to begin with and focus on when it comes to your nutritional health. All right. So let's go ahead and get started and see what we have here. So we're going to first go over processed foods. We'll move from processed foods to whole foods, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's go. All right. So first, let's go over what a processed food is. A processed food is any natural food that has been altered from its natural state. So here it says any natural or raw food that has been washed, cleaned, milled, cut, chopped, heated, pasteurized, blanched, cooked, canned, frozen, dried, dehydrated, mixed, or packaged. So anything done to these foods that alters their natural state causes them to transition from a whole food to a processed food. And I always use the example of peanuts and peanut butter to explain this to my clients. So the peanut is a natural food in its natural state. But when it is processed and altered and things are added and things are taken away and it becomes peanut butter, it becomes a processed food. So peanuts are whole foods, peanut butter is a processed food. Any snack crackers, potato chips, um, fast food, anything like that is a processed food. Anything that does not grow from the ground or a tree, if it's not in the state that it grew, is a processed food. All right. So these processed foods are full of sugar, sodium, and fat. All right. They lack any nutritional value. They are calorie dense and very addicting. Have you ever noticed how addicting fast food is? how addicting any food that's processed that tastes good, it's like you're drawn to it. And you know you shouldn't eat it, but once you start eating it, it's like you just cannot stop. It's addicting. Fast food is a drug, and it's very hard to pull yourself away from something like that when it's been a part of your lifestyle for so long. But however, it may be hard, but it is possible. Okay. These processed foods are also quicker to digest, which means you'll eat more than you should. So, verse to give an example, I am eating a um chicken fingers and french fries from or chicken nuggets and french fries from McDonald's. I'm gonna keep wanting those chicken nuggets and french fries because they taste good, but also because my body is digesting it quicker. So I'm going to eat more. Okay. I'm not going to feel full as fast as I would as if I were eating healthy, whole food. All right. So, and these foods are also full of artificial ingredients, and our bodies were not created to process artificial ingredients. That's just that's one thing that sticks out to me as a holistic practitioner. You want to be sure you're not putting any artificial ingredients inside your body. They can cause a lot of issues along with processed food. So these type foods cause most chronic diseases, for example, cancer, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure, also called hypertension. Processed foods, they aid in weight gain, unhealthy weight gain, and also it fosters a lowered sense of well-being. And what I mean by that is, have you ever noticed when you overeat or when you are eating something that you should not eat, it tastes good for the moment and there's that high, but afterwards your mood drops and you feel down and you feel sleepy and you just don't feel like yourself. The food actually plays a role in in making you feel that way. Okay. If you compare how you feel after a hamburger, a beef hamburger and fries or potato chips or cereal, anything processed like that. Compare how you feel to when you eat beans or lentils or collard greens or any kind of whole food like that. When you eat whole foods, there's this burst of energy and it lasts versus the burst of energy at the beginning of eating a processed meal and then the drop later on. It makes a difference. All right. So processed foods here are just a few examples. This arrow is showing they take these things out of your refrigerator. Okay, so example at the top, there are examples of meats that are processed. Of course, sausages, bacon, hot dogs, salami, beef jerky, corned beef, canned meat, and meat-based sauces. This is not an exhaustive list. It's just an example of those foods that most of us have in our refrigerators that we should, you know, moderately start to transition out of our refrigerators. Also, cheese, any processed cheese, snacks like pastries and pies, ready-made meals and microwave meals, excuse me, biscuits and cakes, drinks that are not water, like cow's milk, soda, wine, and beer. Water is your best friend. As a person living with type 2 diabetes, I have learned that if I drink water and water only, things are on the up and up for a while versus drinking juices and sodas and wine and things of that nature. Okay, so moving on to your whole foods. Whole foods are foods that are as close to their natural state um, as possible. So Any food that is in the state that it grew in, an apple, an orange, collard greens, beans, peas, um, cantaloupe, strawberries, those type foods are whole foods. And those type foods are the ones that you want to focus on replacing your processed foods with. All right. So this says whole foods are foods that are as close to their natural or original states as possible. This means that they have not been processed or refined, which means nothing good has been taken away and nothing bad has been added. It also means they're free of additives such as colorings and preservatives, and they have not been modified. All right. These foods are foods that are as close to their natural state um, as they can be. They're still in their natural state. All right. And in comparison to the processed foods, they are nutrient dense versus calorie dense. Okay, and that's going to make a difference for you when it comes to getting hungry. You'll stay fuller longer with whole foods versus processed foods. All right, these foods also have vitamins, minerals, and nutrients in them, and they're still intact. And versus the processed foods here, you can see it says slow to digest, and that's what we were talking about before. These foods, they digest a lot slower than the processed foods, which means it leaves you fuller longer. Okay. You won't overeat if you're eating whole foods, right? And there's no negative effect on eating whole foods. Right. There, and just so you can kind of understand what a whole food looks like in a grocery store, it's the kind of food that has little to no packaging, and you can find it around the walls of the grocery store. So, and when I say the walls, I mean any fresh food is going to be on the walls around the perimeter, excuse me, of the grocery store. So any food you can find around the perimeter of the grocery store in the produce section, that is going to be where you'll find your whole foods. All right. And these foods are remedies to and preventers of most chronic diseases. Those people who do not have chronic diseases, if they delve into whole foods, then they won't have to worry about having or developing chronic diseases. And those of us who do have chronic disease can use these whole foods to uh, put our disease into remission. Okay. And the medications that we take can either be reduced or eliminated. It may not happen overnight, but it can happen. It has happened. All right. All right. These foods also aid in weight loss and they foster a positive sense of well being. You ever notice how positive you feel, how energetic you feel, how open and just zen you feel once you get done eating a whole food meal? It's because it's because of the food. If there's any, you know, feeling down or out or tired, the food, it reverses all of that. It really makes a difference. What you eat makes a difference. Um, Making the transition is not going to happen overnight, but making the transition is what's going to get you where you want to be in your life, to transform your life from what it currently looks like, how you currently feel, how you currently think, how you currently live your life, in order to transform your life into something that you desire. You have to start with your food. It starts with food. Okay. All right. So, last but not least, we are going to go over just a few. And we already know that whole foods are fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, of course, water, and any plant-based alternatives. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by plant-based alternative. Instead of cow's milk, you can buy coconut milk or almond milk, plant-based milk. It is not coming from a cow, but it is still milk, and it is a great alternative um, to the whole milk, the cow's milk. So also there are other plant-based alternatives for food that we are normally eating, like hamburgers or French fries and those type things. There are plant-based alternatives. You have to be kind of careful with those because they can delve into the processed arena as well. So kind of be careful with that. I would just kind of stick with the whole foods as we spoke about during this presentation, just to be safe. So the transition is not going to happen overnight. The key to success and being successful in this transition is moderation. You don't want to move too fast because it is so easy to relapse and fall back into bad habits. Not that it's not going to happen. No one is perfect, okay? But we all want to try, get back up when we fall, and try to do the right thing. So moderation is key. All right. Do everything in moderation. You don't have to switch out everything in the refrigerator overnight with whole foods. Okay. Just a few things at a time. Change out your milk. Trade out your um potato chips for carrot chips, that type thing. Just kind of do it in moderation and get your body adjusted to the new life that you're going into. That way, once you completely transition over, it'll be easy, easy. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I hope that this was helpful to a lot of you, hopefully to everyone. Again, I am Lydeana Mullin, board certified holistic health practitioner, and I specialize in type 2 diabetes, nutrition, and wellness. And I will talk to you soon.